Talked me into watching K-pop Demon Hunter. So there's that. What's up, guys? Welcome to the Batman Drew podcast. I'm your host, the Batman Drew, and I appreciate you guys coming and spending a little bit of time with me today to go over just a bunch of useless nonsense. I mean, let's face it. This podcast is terrible, but I enjoy doing it. I enjoy having you guys listen. I really do appreciate you following, subscribing, doing all that fun stuff, right? So, as always, we start this podcast out. We're talking with a little bit of life update. Not a whole lot going on for Scarlett and I this week. Grayson did have his first water balloon fight. Of course, it was 4th of July weekend. We didn't do fireworks. We normally shoot off fireworks. We live out in the country, but we didn't do fireworks this year. So we went ahead. We were planning on having a pool already up, but that kind of got derailed. Still coming, but we just didn't get it in time. And so we decided to go buy some water balloons and water guns and have a water balloon fight. And so it was Grayson's first water balloon fight, and he had a fucking blast. Enjoyed every minute of it. Except my mother-in-law loves frogs, and she has this lawn frog wind chime, and it has a hole in the middle of it where the mouth of the frog would be to be able to for air to kind of blow through. And of course, living out in the country, you know that anything that has an opening, you're going to have to inspect for wasps or hornets. Grayson learned that the hard way. Now he didn't get stung, scared the shit out of him, but he just does what any kid does, and he stuck the water gun into the hole and started shooting, and 15 wasps came out. And how he did not get stung, I have no idea, but he's one seriously lucky child. But yeah, he kind of learned the hard way. Definitely scared him, but he is okay, so that was kind of funny. But it was a good 4th of July weekend. Had the family together. I really enjoy the fact that I got to spend some time with my family. My past employer, that wasn't the case. You worked every single holiday, even when there was no reason to, and a little bit of bitterness there. So on my part, but so we had a really good 4th of July. It was a lot of fun. But outside of that, not a whole lot going on. I have to do a little bit of traveling for work this next week, but that's kind of normal. I guess really what's on the horizon for us here in about a month, Scarlett was invited to come cosplay at a con down in Texas. So you'll see some video and some content coming from that. We're heading down to Belton, Texas, which is about an hour south of Fort Worth, I believe, for Belltown Con? Belton Con? I don't know. But it'll be fun. I'm looking forward to it. I know she's really excited. For someone to ask her to come cosplay, she's super thrilled for the opportunity. Now, for us, outside of that, we do have another cruise coming up. If you've seen it in my earlier videos, you know that we took an Alaskan cruise a couple years ago. And so we do have a cruise coming up this year. And no, it was last year we took the Alaskan cruise. Yeah, it was last year. So we have another cruise coming up. We're heading to Mexico, going on Carnival Cruise Lines. And I gotta tell you, I don't know if it's just the algorithm of my social media or what, but I've been seeing a lot of terrible Carnival Cruise videos. Honestly, a lot of racist videos out there about black people on the cruise line, on the cruise ships. And I gotta tell you, I'm not worried about the atmosphere. I'm not worried about the people that are on there. I do think that social media tends to push the worst of everybody, right? They want that clickbait. And in regards to the videos that I've seen, my mother-in-law asked me if I was worried because she saw some of the videos. But every time I see these videos, they're always the same video. And it's just one or two incidents, something happens and people lose their minds and thinking that it's the norm. And I gotta tell you, we've watched a lot of other cruise videos leading up to this to kind of get ready for this cruise, and it looks like it's going to be a fun time. And so I think we did decide in Cozumel that we're going to go to this private beach. You do have to pay to be able to get in, but we do want a chance to be able to kind of isolate ourselves from a bunch of people, just to be able to have some alone time and relax and enjoy being there. So we do have that coming, but that's not until October. So between now and then, I mean, a couple of small different events, but nothing huge. Sister-in-law's birthday's coming up, which will be fun, but not a whole lot in the life update realm. So let's just jump into Fandom. There were a handful of things that came out in the world of Fandom this last week. So first things first, Fantastic Four trailer. I believe it was called the final trailer. This one gave us a good inclination of what the storyline was going to hold for us. Gave us a lot of great plot details in regards to kind of the coming of Galactus and the time frame of this movie. But the it's clobbering time line, kind of running joke through the duration of the trailer was pretty funny. This movie looks like it's going to be a lot of fun, and I can't wait. We actually have 2 sets of tickets. We're going to go see it on opening night, and then we're going to take my mother and father-in-law and Grayson to go see it the following Monday. So hopefully it doesn't suck. We used to go, before the child came, we used to go to every Marvel release opening night. Used to go as a family, but having a kid, you have to be able to have a babysitter and all that kind of stuff. Now he's getting old enough to where he can kind of sit in a movie. So this will be kind of his first real movie that wasn't like Paw Patrol or things like that. So I think that he's going to really enjoy it, and I think it'll be a good time for the family. So we're looking forward to that. But that trailer, just honestly gave me everything I wanted for this Fantastic Four movie. I'm super thrilled and excited for it, and I think that honestly, I think it'll be a lot of fun. I think it's going to be a great movie, and I think it's going to ease people's concerns about Marvel. Thunderbolts was a really good movie. I know it didn't do the greatest financially, but it was a heartfelt, funny, charming movie that honestly should have done better. Like, I get it, people were a little bit worried about what the quality they're going to get from Marvel, and justifiably so. Captain America Brave New World was a terrible movie. Some of their other movies have been clunkers in this most recent phase of the MCU, so Marvel only has themselves to blame for it, but I do think that they rebounded really well with Thunderbolts. You got Fantastic Four coming up. Unless if they move the dates, then your next one up is going to be Spider-Man, which all the news that has dropped about that, how I didn't have that in the notes, I don't know, but Punisher confirmed to be in the new Spider-Man movie, the Hulk confirmed to be in the new Spider-Man movie. So whatever they got planned sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun. And then you jump right into Doomsday. And I realized something, that with Doomsday coming out in 2026, albeit towards the end of 2026, I realized that it is not my most anticipated movie of the year next year. Although I'm looking really forward to it, I do have a little bit of concern that we're just throwing spaghetti onto the fridge and seeing what sticks. I'm a little bit worried that this is the first time that Marvel is making a big Avengers movie without any plan in place. Like, it felt like this came because the Kang Dynasty storyline was sucking and we needed to rebound. And although I trust Kevin Feige and I trust the Russo brothers, it does feel a little bit of like panic mode. And although I'm sure they wouldn't be greenlighting this movie and moving forward with it, they didn't have what they felt was an excellent story. It does, I can't help how it makes me feel, right? So we'll see how that goes. But my most anticipated movie of next year is Project Hail Mary. And I am shocked that it's not an Avengers movie. But Project Hail Mary, we talked about that a couple episodes ago. Like, that looks like, first of all, the book is amazing. The movie's going to be amazing. I have no doubt. But that is my most anticipated movie of next year. So, a lot on the slate for Marvel. Looking forward to it for sure. But in Fantastic Four, that trailer looks great. I think it's going to be a fantastic movie. All right. Now that's over. Next, World of Fandom. I saw something this week that, one, is not my fandom. I was asked to watch it by my lovely wife, who had seen it twice already and had made my child see it twice already. But we watched K-pop Demon Hunter. And when I tell you that I went into a movie with 1,000% certainty that I was going to be checking my phone every 10 minutes to see how much longer we had, and that I was not going to like a single minute of the movie, I shocked myself by the end of the movie by saying that wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. Which is crazy, because it is not my kind of movie. Like, I mean, obviously, I think if you have any interest in seeing it, you're going to see it. So, spoiler if you haven't seen it. But I thought the lore and the mythology of the movie had a lot of promise to it. Now, K-pop, I don't listen to K-pop. It's not my kind of music. However, I do think obviously it's grown in popularity, and that can't be understated. And anime itself has grown in popularity. So if you were going to make this movie, and I'm sure it was based off previous source material or something, I don't know, but if you were going to make this movie, this was the time to make it. And I thought that the mythology behind it was interesting. The demons being, cast into the underworld, the demon hunters, their voices being what helps fight the demons and to keep them at bay and stuff like that. I thought the storyline was intriguing. I don't remember the character's name, so forgive me here, but the guy, the leader of the boy band, I thought that his story was pretty intriguing. The fact that you find out that he was a complete piece of shit at the end of the movie. And I'm sorry, like, although, yes, you helped save the day at the end, that doesn't justify everything you did leading up to it. Like, you literally sacrificed your family, your mother and sister. So, to me, it's a kind of a Darth Vader situation, right? Where, yeah, at the end of the day, at the end of Return of the Jedi, he helps to defeat the Emperor, and he helps Luke to bring balance to the Force, but he also murdered children and killed off all the remaining Jedi, and complete genocide across the galaxy. But at the end, he did a good deed, so we should like him. Like, that's kind of how I felt with the guy in this one. But with that being said, again, this movie was better than I thought it was going to be, and I'm shocked by that. The music is terrible. The music, K-pop is not my jam, so take it with a grain of salt. Everything's subjective. All art is subjective. So this is just my opinion. And if you love it, I love that for you. But the music is awful. The end song is actually decent. The one that they use to kind of battle the demons at the end, and I'm assuming the devil is who they're battling at the end, which I'm not a fan of when your big villain is just a bunch of fire and smoke. All Hail Galactus in the Fantastic Four movie, that Rise of the Silver Surfer, or Green Lantern fighting a big puffy cloud at the end of Ryan Reynolds' better than people make it out to be Green Lantern movie. So I wasn't a fan of that, but I did like it. I did like the movie. I think on a thumbs up and thumbs down world, I would give it a thumbs up. My child is tormented by the music, however. He hates it, thinks it's gross, but then he will be singing it when my wife is listening to it. So whatever they put in the secret sauce for this movie and the music, like, it's winning off over most people. So K-pop Demon Hunter, who'd have fucking thought? And so I think that clearly I think they set it up for a sequel, and I think that they'll probably. I mean, I'm sure Netflix will probably. It's got to be pretty affordable to make. The animation itself was okay. It felt like it couldn't decide if it wanted to be Arcane or Into the Spider-Verse. Like it felt like it was like caught in between, while also trying to have some of those anime tropes. Like the when they get a shock face and like their eyes get like real squinty and face gets real like it's just like I understand that that's anime art. Like I understand that's the style, but then it was also mixed with a lot of really beautiful artwork. Not that anime is not beautiful, so don't come at me. But it was mixed with a lot of anime or a lot of beautiful artwork, animation in it that wasn't necessarily anime driven, and so I wish they would have picked the lane and stayed in it. But again, just shocked that it was actually a decent movie. I didn't hate it as much as I thought it was going to. So thanks to Scarlett for opening my horizons. She caught me though, because we've been going through the MCU and rewatching the Marvel movies. And we just finished dinner and she was like, I haven't done it in a while. I was like, what's that? And she was like, watch a movie. And our next one up is Captain America, the First Avenger. So I was like, yeah, we haven't. Like thinking that that's what we were going to watch. And I was, before I had a chance to process what she was actually talking about, she brought up the K-pop Demon Hunter and realized that I guess my face did not hide how disappointed I was that we weren't going to watch Captain America, but that's okay. Sometimes your responsibility as a husband is to just focus on making your wife happy. And if you can do that, then it's a win. So, and it was a decent movie. So we'll go with that. Last thing in the world of fandom, for me, just recently, like yesterday, I finished Ghost of Toshima, and I will have a larger review coming down the road. I do want to share my initial thoughts. I can see why I can see why the game won Game of the Year. I can see why it's so beloved and people had a great time with it. By the end all of the game, it was a fantastic game. I thought it was going to end up cracking my top 10 game list. And spoiler, I actually don't have a list put together. I still need to, but you kind of just know, right? If a game is like up there. It didn't crack that top 10 for me. And there were a couple of reasons why. First things first, I felt like however the game was structured, I know it came out a while ago and I'm playing it late. It allowed me to be able to play Iki Island in the middle of my storyline. And I felt that took away from the game for me. I felt like it gave a supernatural element that really felt shoehorned in, that didn't quite fit. I felt like it robbed me from the momentum of the storyline and the pacing of the game by throwing me into this whole complete island that I couldn't get myself out of. Now, I know it told me, like, you're going on a long tail, do you really want to go? But as someone who was, like, brand new to the game, has never played it before, I had no idea what I was walking into, right? It told me the same thing when I was ending the game as well, when I was going to fight, the final battle. So, I wish it would have waited for that. Secondly, I felt like it was predictable a lot of times. There were a couple of things that kind of threw me for a loop, but for the most part, like, you saw where it was heading. And with the last battle with your uncle, I just kind of felt like, okay, like, this was predictable, and it gave you a choice at the end of the game to either kill your uncle or to spare his life. And although this is subjective, because clearly it lets you decide what you want to do, I kind of felt like there was no other choice but to spare your uncle's life. Like, that's what I ended up doing. And I felt like because I try to do what I believe is true to the character. And he did everything. Jin did everything for his people and his family. He wasn't going to murder his uncle at the end. So the predictability of the game, I felt, was just too much. And it kind of, like, you saw everything coming. And then lastly for me, what kept it out of the top 10 realm for me was that you kept hinting at a love interest between Jin and Yuna. Even that line where she was like, we could just get on a boat and run away. And for it not to end with them together, like, I would have much rather you had not had you would have kept their relationship platonic. Which for the most part it was, until she dropped that line, we could just run off together. And I know people are like, well, they were friends. Like, friends can do that. No, friends don't do that. They don't run off together like that. And so I just kind of felt like if you weren't going to have them, like, together at the end, if you weren't going to have them embrace their relationship at the end whenever she finds your mask and you're still alive, then why hint at it? I just felt like that was a little bit silly. And I know it was self-serving and self-sacrificing of Jin to just become the ghost and to not worry about any relationship and just be what the people needed. I don't feel like that was communicated very well through the storyline. So those are my takeaways for why I didn't think it was in the top 10. But for the game overall, don't get me wrong, it was fantastic. Between the visuals and the narrating, the dialogue, like, it was a beautiful game, and I am super pumped for the sequel. And I think that, honestly, shame on me for waiting so long to play, but I'm also happy about it because I know that the next one comes out in just a few months, and so I don't have to have a super prolonged period of waiting. I can just be able to enjoy the second one when it comes out. So, Ghost of Toshima, really, honestly, a great game. I will put up next week, maybe this week, some point I'll record a full-on review on what my thoughts were for Ghost of Toshima, and I will post that onto the loot drop on my channel, my YouTube channel. So be on the lookout for that. But yeah, it really was. It was a solid game. So if you haven't played it, you definitely should. Alright, guys. Just always remember that life is too short for people to hate on you for what you love. So enjoy your fandom, whatever it is. I don't care what it is. Like, I celebrate you and I celebrate your fandom. I hope you're into it. I hope you love it. And speaking of fandom, moving into the random shit, I saw online, and I'm throwing the pictures up right now for you, that a guy took his Pope Leo Pokemon card and had the Pope himself sign this Pokemon card. And in a world of completely random shit, first of all, kudos to the guy for being brave enough to take a Pokemon card to the Pope. Because I remember growing up when, now, I get it, like, I wasn't Catholic, I was Baptist, but I'm sure it was all the same, that Pokemon was dementic. It was evil. They were pocket monsters. Like, this was the apocalypse about to happen to the earth and the coming of Jesus, and, all of our kids are going to hell because they love Pikachu. So to take a Pokemon card to the Pope and have him sign it was pretty fucking funny. But this signature, listen, my man, you are supposedly, second to God. You gotta have a better signature. Like that's terrible. Like, I get it. I know you're old. Probably even caught off guard at the moment. I don't know. I don't know if you were signing autographs or not at the time. But that signature is terrible. But I do, again, kudos to the guy for being brave enough to take a Pokemon card and have the Pope sign it. I think that was... that really was. That was a very awesome thing to do. And I don't know. I just got a kick out of that story when I saw it. Completely random. Still fandom. Love Pokemon. But I did. I thought that was crazy. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you haven't yet, go follow Rated Red on Instagram. They don't need my plug. They don't know who the fuck I am. But I do love their content and the stories that they provide. And you get a lot more content just like this here. So, guys, remember to love all the awkward moments in between life and death. Thank you guys for being here with me today. And remember to go like and subscribe. Like and subscribe and all that other fun stuff. And I'll see you guys again next time at the same Batman Drew time on the same Batman Drew channel. Thanks, guys. So when I was at Comic-Con, or at Fan Expo in Dallas, when I was at Fan Expo in Dallas, there was a girl who did a panel that said Magneto was right. He just went about it the wrong way. And although I'm sure the girl is a lovely girl, she was very unprepared for her panel, which was really frustrating because she had a room full of people who were super excited about the topic. And I thought, you know what? That might be a pretty fun topic to really kind of dig into to discuss. So, within the next couple of weeks, you're going to see an editorial video come out on the Batman Drew channel on YouTube. And it is going to be that discussion. Magneto was right. He just went about it the wrong way. And we're going to really dive into just the nature of Magneto himself as a villain, how he justifies himself as a hero, and what he could have done better in order to unite humanity or the mutant species, or to even let the mutant species become the superior without having to sacrifice human life. So it'll be an interesting topic. Looking forward to it. I'm going to have a couple of guests, at least one guest with me to go over the conversation. And yeah, we got that coming in a couple of weeks. So stay tuned.